Okay, let's get into it. So, patch 6.3 spoilers. If that wasn't obvious already. If you don't want spoilers for patch 6.3, the MSQ or the raid, stop listening right now. I'm not gonna tell you again. Okay. Got that? Okay. So, I have one question, and one question only. Who the fuck is Golbez? That's it. That's my question. Golbez. Golbez is the big black knight who has been causing problems for us and on the 13th, right? He is basically like they are setting him up to be the next baddie. So who the fuck is he? Does anybody know? No? Well, Golbez, if we want to look, Golbez is a character that has actually existed within Final Fantasy 4, or not 14, but Final Fantasy before. Final Fantasy IV, Golbez is a tall, imposing man in dark blue and black armor with gold trimmings and a helmet with tall horns. That is him. That is Golbez right there. Look at him. He's the villain of FF4. Yeah, he is the villain of Final Fantasy IV, and he's fucking doing shit in 14. And it's like, my question is like, who the fuck is this bitch? You know, because but Final Fantasy, I have learned that Final Fantasy, they borrow a lot of shit from all the other games, right? That is kind of like what they do. And Golbez is obviously borrowed from Final Fantasy IV, and they have implemented him into Final Fantasy XIV. But just because they did that, that doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to be the exact same. Now, maybe it was different for like other villains and stuff. Maybe they are the exact same. I don't know. But Golbez, as we stand, in my opinion, there's only two options for this asshole. Well, actually, there's three, because I thought of something yesterday. So, Golbez, he is either going to be an Ascian, or he is a Warrior of Light. Right? And I say Ascian because so the 13th, right? The 13th reflection, that was the Ascian's first attempt to like get that world and bring it into the source, right? That was their like whole big thing, and they started with the 13th. They fucked it up, and the 13th became this goddamn void world full of void scent, and that's where all the void scent come from, you know? It didn't even cause, I don't even think it caused a calamity. It just fucked up that world, and they were like, well shit, we kind of fucked that up. Oops, teehee. And then they moved on. They went to another world to cause another calamity. But the thing is like at some point, they had to bring the 13th into the source. Because the whole point of the Ascians, their whole end game was like, we're gonna... They couldn't rejoin it to the source because they fucked up. Well, yeah, well that's what I'm saying. Where they fucked it up. But here's the thing. It had to get rejoined with the source some fucking way, because their whole plan was to basically like reunite Zodiark. And what Zodiark did, well, basically what every reflection was and what every reflection had was, it was like they were all a piece of Zodiark, right? And they were all kind of like, when, like, let's say another world, let's say hypothetically the fourth, when the fourth rejoins with the source, it basically adds another piece of Zodiark. It gives Zodiark back some of his power, right? That was their whole thing, and they were gonna then use Zodiark to basically bring back the world that they had by reuniting all the pieces. Well, they fucked that up with the 13th, but they still needed it to get it back into the source. Like, they needed it still to make Zodiark whole. And that is why my idea is that Golbez might be the Ascian who fucked it up for the Ascians on the 13th. And that he's basically still to this day trying to make up for his failure and bring the 13th into the source. But the thing is that he's kind of stuck over there because they fucked up the 13th so bad they can't even go to like really go look over there. Like, it's all sorts of fucked up because like the whole thing about like the reflections and the source is that they're all connected to one another, right? And so, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that if you go and if you die on the first, you would go back to the life stream on the source. That is how the Warriors of Darkness got there, right? They killed themselves and then they went back to Hydaelyn. And then they were raised on the source as like these things. You know, they went into the life stream. The Ascians fucked up the 13th so bad that there is no life stream. So nobody can really get over there and nobody can leave. So everybody on the 13th is kind of in this weird limbo where they're like immortal and they can't really go anywhere, and they don't want that. They want to die. So I don't know how they're going to do it, but they could very well like make Golbez like the Ascian who fucked it up and is stuck over there, and he's still trying to do his sacred duty to all the other Ascians of, you know, reuniting it with the source. I could see that happening, right? Because, well, like how the fuck would he know about all the other Ascians if he's fucking stuck over there? You know, he wouldn't know that they're all basically gone now and that he's like the only one left. That being said, he could also be the Warrior of Light because they have described all the others, and I think Golbez kind of in some of the dialogue as like heroes or people of importance on the source or on the 13th, I mean. So most people of import in Final Fantasy XIV, they are the Warrior of Light, and, you know, they're homies. And every reflection has a Warrior of Light. Every reflection has that, right? And so Golbez could very well be the Warrior of Light for the 13th. And if he is, that means that he's basically our own reflection. Kind of like how Ardbert was our reflection for on the first, right? Now, both those theories are pretty alright. If I had to lean towards one, I would probably lean towards Ascian. But there is a third one. A third one that I thought up myself after completing the new raid that came out this patch, which was you get to go hug Nofika's milkers. That's the whole raid. Don't let anybody else tell you otherwise. And my thought was that they talk about, so you go and you like decode this like aura site thing, right? This monument in the middle of Umphalos, and it basically describes the ancient charge of all the different of the 12, right? And all the 12 were also confirmed to be creations of Hydaelyn, right? They are basically the ones that will watch over the world as Hydaelyn goes into the earth and basically like vibes out in the life stream and stuff like that. They are the ones that are to safeguard the world that she cannot technically be a part of, right? But at the end of all of that, they say that there is a secret and hidden 13th member. Who that 13th member is, I don't know. It could be Derek, right? I don't know. That's besides the point. That's not my point of talking about this, because my point of talking about this is that a number that is always coming up in Final Fantasy XIV is 12. The Convocation of 12. The 12 Divines of Eorzea. The 12... Well, no. It's not the 12 Reflections. It's 13. That's because there was a hidden member of the 12. So it's actually the 13th. Right? It's the 13. So they speculated in game, and you can also kind of speculate that Hydaelyn on the moon, they basically were like, there exists this watcher, and it's basically like Hydaelyn's watcher, and it's basically like a guy that, like, I don't remember what the watcher does. I'm pretty sure he chronicles like everything for Hydaelyn. He like chronicles the world and watches over it from the moon, right? Pretty sure that's what he does. Well, if the moon was created, right? Because at the end of the 6.3 MSQ, it is said that, well, it's basically confirmed without any words that, like, the 13th moon, I always fuck that word up. The 13th moon is basically a reflection of our moon, right? If it is a reflection of our moon, would that then mean that the Watcher itself was also, like, reflected to all the other worlds, right? So, is the Watcher on the 13th Golbez? You know what I mean? Like, is like obviously every patch for Final Fantasy, they're all interconnected, right? They all have different inner weird meanings and stuff. And I don't think it's a coincidence that we found out about some secret 13th deity of Eorzea, of the 12, in the same patch where we figure out that the moon of the 13th is a reflection of our moon, and that Golbez is currently seated where Zodiark would be, right? So, in my mind, maybe it's fucking crazy, but it's very possible that Golbez could be like some weird fucked up reflection of the Watcher as we know it on the moon right now. He's just the Watcher of the 13th. Because I think that would make sense, right? You have a Watcher for every world that kind of like looks around and does stuff for every world. So, and we haven't really seen much of the 13th or the moon, but we can go off of what we know about our moon since it is a reflection, right? So maybe I'm crazy, but Golbez is either an Ascian, he's either the Warrior of Light, or he's like the Watcher, right, of the 13th. Or, if you want to get really fucking crazy with it, if Zodiark was split up into all these different pieces, right? And like we can say that each moon of each reflection has a piece of Zodiark inside of them. Maybe he's the 13th piece of Zodiark. You know what I mean? Like maybe he is this missing piece or something. You know? and he's like awake and he's alert or something, or some crazy crackhead shit. I could see that being something. I don't know if I really believe that, but it's possible, right? I would also like to point out as well that if each moon of each reflection is a reflection of our moon, well, we know that the moon around the source was built to basically, it is capable of space flight. The whole point of the moon was like, in case of the final days, we can take this, we can take the moon, right? We can take the moon and we can just fling it out of orbit and go somewhere else where the final days hasn't happened yet, so that we basically like save humanity from damnation and extinction, right? If that is our moon, if that is the whole reason why our moon was built by Hydaelyn, as well as the House Zodiark, does that then mean that every moon of every reflection, are they all also capable of space flight? And is that how Golbez is gonna get people and the void sent of the 13th to the source, right? Because before, he's been using portals and such and different powerful artifacts to get to the source. But what if he just flings the whole ass moon at us? What if he just flings the fucking moon and just hits the fucking earth and everything blows up? I mean, technically, like, he would, like, get the void sent to the source, right? Sure, you might fuck the world in the process, but, like, you did it. You know what I mean?